Yeah, that was me when I was younger. In fact, it was at school. It was my very last day at school. I'm not gonna explain why I was dressed like this and why I was dancing. I'm just gonna say, my very last day, very happy. I had a few drinks, and yeah. But today I wanna talk about school in general. So, firstly, welcome everyone. That's my vlog number 4, and I wanna talk about school today. So, 3, 2, 1, go. Germans. A really funny fact about Germans. They keep staring at me every time I make a video. I was making a time-lapse video and a grandma stopped, took a picture of me and ran away. I'm sitting in front of a school I used to go to. It just happened that within the first 5 years of me living in Germany, I had to change about 4 schools. Always different reasons. I met loads of interesting people, and with most of them I'm still in touch. But today I don't want to talk about me going to school. I want to talk about school in general, more specifically about the modern school. We had to memorize so much stuff that we've never needed in our lives, but still, school is important. The most important thing school does is it teaches you to use your brain to think and to memorize stuff. But what I want to talk about today is the concept of school. School is important, yes, but it has to be changed because the world has already changed. I'll bring you an example. I remember back in the days when I used to go to school, there was one principle for sure. If I follow the instructions of my teacher, I will get a good mark. And this has always worked for me. So if I just listen to what my teacher expects from me and do exactly the way he wants me to do it, I will be successful. In a nutshell, what the school teaches you is if you follow the instructions of your supervisor, of your boss, you'll be successful. And this is wrong. But the world nowadays is different. It requires a different approach to succeed. I used to work in the office, in retail, in theatre, and what I've noticed was people who become most successful within a company are the ones who bring in something new, not just blindly follow what other people tell them to do, no, but create a brand new approach in their own way. Initiative is important, creativity is important, thinking outside of the box is important, be able to lead people, this is what is important, this is what people expect from you. But if you just keep following the instructions of your supervisor, you will forever remain unnoticed. Nobody will ever remember you. But the school nowadays is too old. It more resembles the principles of the Industrial Revolution times, because during that time, all people wanted from you is just to do the work exactly the same way they wanted you to do. And you will be fine, you'll have money, you'll have your job, you will be able to provide for your family, but it's all so different now. The world is different now. For instance, recently a friend of mine told me about a scientist. His name is Michio Kaku, an incredibly interesting guy. I found his YouTube channel, I watched his videos. He talks a lot about the universe, about the world theories, about mankind, but he also talks about the future. I would like to share a clip with you where he talks about the jobs of the future, what will be required, what's going to be important, and what jobs are going to be important.
It turns out the jobs of the future will be those jobs that cannot be done by artificial intelligence and robots. And there are huge gaps in what a robot can do. Robots have very bad eyesight. They see lines, circles, squares, but they don't understand that these lines, circles, squares make up a face, or a chair, or a cup. Pattern recognition is one of the big problems. Second, common sense. They don't understand the simplest things about human behavior, about the world. They don't know that water is wet. They don't know that strings can pull, but strings cannot push. So the 2 jobs that will thrive in the future and the 2 sets of jobs that will be destroyed are as follows. Among blue-collar jobs, repetitive jobs are going to be wiped out, obliterated. This means jobs in the automobile industry, textile industry that are purely repetitive are in danger. Non-repetitive jobs in blue-collar work will thrive. Garbage men, sanitation people, gardeners, police, construction workers, every job is different. They will survive. In white-collar work, it defies common sense. The people who will be thrown out of work are middlemen, low-level accountants, bookkeepers, agents, tellers, middlemen, the friction of capitalism are going to be obliterated. So who will benefit among white-collar workers? Workers who engage in intellectual capitalism. What is intellectual capitalism? It involves common sense. In other words, creativity, imagination, leadership, analysis, telling a joke, writing a script, writing a book, doing science. Realize that England, said Tony Blair, derives more revenue from rock music than it does the coal industry. Because we're making the transition from commodity-based capital like coal to intellectual capital like rock and roll.
Creativity, imagination, leadership, analysis, telling a joke, writing, and science. How can you follow instructions in these areas? You can't. And it is already there, and it will even be more. All I want to say is that the school system has to be updated. The children have to be prepared for the world of now, not for the world it used to be and is long gone. For instance, in England, if you go to school or college, you can choose drama as one of the subjects, and it will definitely drive your creativity, your imagination. But unfortunately, the UK government, they're planning to get rid of this subject. I understand that, of course, during hard times, people never tend to care about arts. For instance, there is a great movie about this called The Monument Men, about a group of people who are trying to save some very important art pieces from the Nazis. But unfortunately, nobody wants to support them. Just have a look. It's really, really amazing, funny, and interesting.
More money, more cash. More money, more cash. More money, more cash.
Well, normally when I watch videos like this, I tend to say, well, everyone's great at criticizing, but what's your suggestion? What's your idea? And therefore I prepared a few points, just a few spontaneous ones, and here they are. The first one is to give teachers freedom of action. Like everywhere else, the first move starts with the first move of the leader. In the family, it's your parents, in the company, it's the management, so at school, it is your teacher. They have to experiment with what works and what doesn't. Teachers should be encouraged to create their own mini-lab where they can experiment with their teaching styles, just taking on board what works and scrapping what doesn't. An experimental mindset at the top can lead teachers to thinking outside of the box, and that will transfer to their students, because the children nowadays are different. They need a different approach. They are millennials and they have a different perception. The next one is not just about schools, but education in general. Education has to be for free. It will take a huge burden from the children and their parents, because they know they can afford education. They don't have to think about it anymore. But at the same time, we shouldn't forget, kids should stay kids for as long as they can. They will only be children once, so let them enjoy this time. This is it, guys. This is the end of the video. I hope you liked it. Please subscribe to my channel. I will be making more of these and about different topics. There are a few ideas that I would like to talk about. Before I finish here, I just have one more question. Would you rather be the smartest person in the world or the most charming one? Have a think.